Hello from Love Story Yoga. This is the Love Story Yoga studio space, this beautiful new yoga studio that I'm teaching at on Valencia at 16th here in San Francisco. And I just taught a class. Everybody's gone already. And I'm starting this new system of reading tomorrow's reading in the evening, or at least the day before, so that when I can share this tomorrow, it's the people, mostly when people are getting it now, they'll get it the day of the reading. Because mostly I've been doing them at night, and then people get them the next day. So I'm trying this out after Swami Chidananda gave this suggestion. So thank you, Swami Chidananda. Here we go. This is for February 5th, and yes, this is from the Golden Present. Daily Inspirational Readings by Swami Satchidananda. February 5th. God is all of these and more. God is he and she and it, and even more than that. In the name of simplifying, we usually say he because that has been recognized as the so-called neutral pronoun. But God need not be a father. God can be a mother also. God can be a brother, a sister, a friend, a tree. God is everything. God is spirit, and spirit is above all these distinctions. To realize God as spirit is what is called spiritual practice. Unfortunately, even in the spiritual life, problems come up about male and female. Arguments about men and women don't belong in a church or synagogue or ashram. There should be no discrimination against one or the other. When you talk about the physical body, you are talking about flesh, blood, and bone. Spirit is above all these things. If you're going to fight about male and female, don't call yourself a spiritual person. Spirit has no gender. Still, we love the Spirit or God and want it to manifest in some form or other so that we can express our devotion. If you love the image of a father, let God come as a father to you. If you love the image of a mother, God can manifest as a mother for you. If you adore nature, call God by the name of nature. God is all of these things and more. Yep, all that in a bag of chips, we used to say, right? Something like that. I like that, yes, because it's, again, sharing how Swami Satchidananda shares his understanding of what God is and not a limited sense of what it is to use for divisiveness, but to allow this God to be so expansive that it embraces absolutely all of the energies that we can think of from all the spectrums. And I particularly like this because I think about our transgender brothers and sisters. There has been such a struggle in that community to feel like they are fairly identified and recognized for who they are. And they are who they are. They're not this trying to be that. They are who they are. And I've noticed in some communities there's different pronouns that are used. Sometimes they is used to just encompass the person's sense of self and gender. Rather than saying he or she, they prefer the pronoun they. And at some points you might think like, I don't get it, and why do they need to do this, and can't they just choose one? But I appreciate that it actually has more of this sense that it is all-encompassing, and that it's actually could be a symbol for me to be able to be reminded, oh yeah, all of this is part of God, all of this is part of the spiritual experience rather than just what I feel that I can handle understanding with my limited experience or limited comprehension. I like that there are reminders out there, and there are people who are really, marching and forging ahead with helping us understand what it means to be a human being on this planet. And oftentimes it is more than most of us can allow ourselves to fully experience and understand, because we're trying so hard to understand our own identity, our own self, and that can be hard enough. I know for myself, being a gay male, there has been a journey with that and feeling like that's normal rather than, oh, I'm abnormal, which is mostly how it felt for many years of my life. Even in a way, throwing away the whole normal thing. It's just, I am. And there's spiritual text that is kind of a vibrational mantra or sound, I am that I am. So sort of bringing it more and more to the universal and less towards the segregating, isolating, compartmentalizing, all that we tend to want to do. I know I've tended to want to do that because it helps me feel safe, helps me feel like I can make sense of everything. If things are a little too ambiguous, then it's like, I'm not sure where I fall, I just thought of when I was a painter. I still think I might paint, but I haven't been painting. But when I was actively painting, I was definitely drawn to abstract expressionism, because it felt like I wasn't trying to conform with a certain thing. I was allowed to figure out what was moving within me that I wanted to express and create my own language. I wasn't trying to imitate or mimic another language. I might have borrowed some elements, but mostly I'm finding what's my expression. And I think that was a good practice for me to move into the spiritual practice, that there are things that I like, but it doesn't have to look like what I think everybody else wants it to look like. Yeah. And even teaching here in this new studio, I've not been a vinyasa flow teacher, but that is what's happening here. And then it's also a heated room, which actually maybe hear the heat. I feel like I'm talking a little louder to compensate for that. But, it's a practice where people are sweating. It's definitely a more challenging, rigorous practice than when I teach at integral yoga. But it's all part of how I practice. I like practicing like this as much as I like practicing at integral yoga. And to me, it all has information for me, rather than saying, no, this is the one yoga that's right, and then this is not right, and this is what's the yoga, that's limited. And yoga is all of this and more. God is spirit, and spirit is above all these distinctions. I like that. I need to bookmark this, February 5th, to remember this. God is all of these and more. Okay, well, I am happy that I'm already getting this one recorded, and that you'll likely get this on the beginning of the day that this was for. So maybe there's some way you can bring this into your day as a practice to be able to notice when you feel like your mind is limiting, to think, well, no, this is the way that life is supposed to look, and this is what it's supposed to be. If you're starting to fill with a lot of those types of thoughts, or you see things that you, for whatever reason inside of you, you're like, that's wrong, that shouldn't be. Maybe think about that for a moment, and maybe it's just I haven't had the experience to fully understand. And that's going to cause us to stretch our brains in some other ways we might enjoy, some we might not, but it's not saying that you have to necessarily let go of your beliefs. It's just stretch a little, see what happens when you breathe into the pose, and you might learn that there's more that you're capable of and understanding than you realize. So, okay, that's it for today. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back the next time. Okay, bye.